he was right. We've had our tragedies in the past several months.
Hey, it's Devin,
And Shannon?
and we're the Youngbloods.
About a couple of months ago, before my mom died, I had signed up to be on a TV show. You never know what's going to happen. I did it as a whim, trying to figure out what I was going to do. Try to figure out, just something I want, just random, this random thing, and didn't hear back. And then all of a sudden, I finally, I'd say about a month ago, I get a call. And call was, "Hey, do you have a passport?" And I said, "No, I don't, but I can get one. I can get one in 24 hours." That's a story in itself. I posted about that on social media already, but essentially people don't know why I got the passport. So that being said, I ended up. They told me, "Get a passport. You got till such and such date to get that figured out. Then call us back before this date, and you'll be in." I look at Shannon. I'm like, "Well, crap. I gotta get a passport." So I did the thing that is hard. I got online. I had to figure it out. So to get a passport, here's the deal. To get a passport usually takes 6 to 8 weeks, roughly. You can get one overnight. It is possible. You can get one in 24 hours. So what I had to do, I had to do what I need to do. I had to be able to get the passport quickly. To get a passport quickly, you have to have a reason to go out of the country. Whether it's a wedding, whether it's whatever. Now, they didn't ask me the question. So when I went to go get I called the passport office and I asked them questions. What do I need to do? How do I need to do it? They told me what was required. I said, okay. And one of it was a need to go out of town, need to go out of state, need to, I had to have a proof of travel, and then I had to have, all my personal documents, and then I had to have the, I had to go schedule an appointment and get there. So I created the need to go out of the country. I booked a hotel, got one in Canada, and then so that was my documents for that. Got my personal documents. Did not have a birth certificate. I haven't had a birth certificate at all in my life. Now my mom did. My parents, but they had to go find one. My mom couldn't find it, so they went and got me new ones, and they overnighted that to me. I got those to me. So it took me about 5 days to get all my document paper put together. Once I got my document stuff put together, I booked a flight. I flew to Denver. Got a flight. Got to Denver. Got there late at night. Ended up in a crappy hotel. Who messed up my reservation. That's a long story in itself. Slept there anyway. The room was supposed to be non-smoking. It smelled like a chimney inside the room. It is what it is. It's par for the course, right? Part of the sucky part of dealing with with this potential TV show I'm going to be on. I had to get all that done. Now, once that was finished, I got to the passport office. I turned in all my paperwork. They looked at it. They said, "Oh, looks good. Come back in a couple hours, and we'll have it ready for you." Awesome. I got a passport. Got the information done. Got it ready to go. Everything is beautiful. Now, I got on my flight back. Got home. I made the phone call. They didn't answer. I left a message. No answer. I texted them. No answer. I called one more time. No answer. Nothing. Literally was dead for probably 2 or 3 days. I'm like, well, that was a waste of money. Literally cost me about $600 total, a little over $650 total to get pay for the passport, to get my flight, to get my food, pay for my hotel. So I spent a little over $600 just to get a passport. Insane, crazy. I don't know why a person would ever do that, but I'm here going, "Yeah, let's try something new." They said they wanted me. They got me. And I'm like, okay, well, crap. That's not going to happen. Then all of a sudden, a day or two later, I get a phone call. They said, "Do you have your passport?" I said, "I do." They said, "What's the number?" I said, "Here's the number." So they verified it. They said, "Yep, you do have a passport. You're good to go." I said, okay, what's next? He said, well, be looking for an email. We'll get the information to you. Waited. All of a sudden, got an email. It says, you are accepted. Get your information. Upload all this. Got that ready to go and done. Boom. I'm accepted for the show. Now the show is split up in two different segments. One's going to be a video that's going to be on YouTube, and then the rest of the episodes are going to be on TV, a streaming service. That being said, I signed an NDA. I can't talk a lot about it, so I'm not going to talk a lot about it. I'll give you generals, but then I've got a vlog I've been keeping since then that I'll be posting. Once the episodes start airing, I'll start posting my vlog. And I may do the vlog and do a live viewing. I'll probably do that so people can jump in and follow along and get my take on what's happening and what's going on, and my reactions. We'll probably do an after show questionnaire is what I'll probably end up doing, which will be kind of cool. Now, before all that, got the phone call, got all that done. They sent me my flight itinerary, and it's off. I'm ready to go. Before the show, well, take that. I get all the paperwork done, sit over there, and before I got my flight information, my mom passes away. So when my mom passed away, Elizabeth and I, we took a trip, and Elizabeth and Ethan, we jumped in her car. Shannon was not able to get off work with her company she works for. They only give you 1 day of bereavement, and then they had basically the rest of the time scheduled out. So because it's her mother-in-law, it's not a direct relative. So they're like, you get a day to mourn. She took her day to mourn. She took the rest of the weekend, obviously, and then she went back to work. Pretty sucky. So here I am at the traveling across the country with Ethan and Elizabeth to go be there for my dad, be there for my brothers and my sister, and for the funeral. We jump in the car, we travel, we get to Alabama in little over 25 hours, 26 hours. I think it was 26 hours and change. And it was a very long, thought-ridden drive. It was hard. As I sit here and I think about it, I'm still not fully through it. It's a hard thing to lose a parent, and I know that's the plan. That's how kids do, and their job is to bury your job is to bury your parent. Your parents are going to pass. It is part of life. It's sucky. We get to Alabama. I walk in my parents' house. One of my brother, I can't remember how many of my brothers were there. I think 2 of my brothers were there with their families. My dad's sitting in his chair. I walk in. He sees me. I see him. And I give him a hug. Sorry. My mom was my first best friend. And to lose your best friend is one of the hardest things a person can do, especially when it's your parent and you had a good relationship with your parent. I spend the next day and a half there, getting things ready. I have 2 brothers, and one brother in particular, my little brother, Jason. He's been helping my parents for years because he's been the closest. And him and Ryan had taken care of everything. They did all their funeral arrangements. They did all that stuff, and I just had to be there. I'm number 6 of 7 kids. Very grateful for amazing brothers. I mean, one thing I've learned in my 46 years of life is family matters. More than anything else, more than a job, more than a career that you may think you need to have, more than anything else. Family matters more than that. We bury my mom. We had a memorial service at our old church building. All my brothers and we all spoke at that. We told stories about my mom, and we talked about our faith in Jesus Christ, and it was an amazing event. It was probably one of the greatest moments in such a horrible, sad moment, just to be there with my siblings and my dad and just feel that love that was there, and the people that filled that entire church building that loved and cared about my mom and cares about our family. It was amazing to see that. Yes, I call it an amazing event because it really was. After the funeral, we go back to my parents' house. I talked to my dad, talked to my siblings, and we made, I had talked to Shannon about this beforehand, before going out, and we've had, both Shannon and I had this feeling. We've had a feeling and the need to get back to the South. Not that we don't love Utah, but Utah's really not our home. We like it here, but we need to be back south. We moved out here because we felt inspired that we need to be out here, and we did it, and we have fulfilled what we needed to be here for. So we no longer need to be in Utah. So I talked to my dad, and I asked my dad, I said, Dad, would you like me to move in with you? And so it'd be me and Ethan for now. And once Logan graduates, then Shannon and the rest, and if Elizabeth decides to move back out with us, they'll move back out. And he said, everybody living here? I said, it'll be just Ethan and I for a few months until we buy a home. I said, we'll be here with you. And my dad said he would love that. Here we are now, several weeks after the funeral, and I'm still in Utah. It's not something you can do immediately. It's one of those things. It's like to do something immediate is really hard. Sometimes you have to plan things out, and I plan things out, and I do that. So I stayed there. We got things prepared. I've talked to my dad pretty much every day since then, except for a small week and a half. I'll get to that one, but we stayed there. We made some preparations. We know what rooms we're going to be sleeping in. We got that done. We told my dad goodbye. Told my brothers goodbye. My other brothers went back to their homes, scattered across the country, and then we loaded up in the cars and we drove back to Utah. Made a pit stop in Texas to see a very good friend of mine in Texas. Visited him for a couple of days, which was nice because I could just de-stress a little bit. But also the other side, it was hard because I was apprehensive about what's to come. So we get back here. Elizabeth's driving, I'm driving. Driving 2 cars this time. We get back home. Then we get things settled here. Discuss things with Shannon. Try to figure out what we're going to do, how we're going to plan all this out and get it going. And then we got it worked. So that leads us up to where we are now. Yeah. I'll talk about the rest of that in the next little segment episode. But during my travel, I will say this. There's a quote by getting there. It's slow. Sorry. Silent movie actor. What is his name? Charlie Chaplin. There it is. Finally got here. Came to. All done. There was a quote by Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin said, and this is very fitting with what's been going on in our life for the past several months since I posted a podcast. Charlie Chaplin said, "Life up close is a tragedy, but life in the wide scale, the wide frame, is a comedy." I'm grateful that I can see how that applies to my life, because he was right. You know, we've had our tragedies in the past several months, but I also can see the comedy, because I'm lucky to be able to pan out and see what's ahead of me.